Did a knight once deliberately shave a woman's pubic hair in a Syrian bathhouse? Seriously. Let's dive into a story that's equal parts bizarre, potentially scandalous, and utterly fascinating. A tale ripped from the pages of a 12th century Arab chronicler and stubbornly refusing to let go. Forget dusty academic debates. This is about a bathhouse brawl, a humiliated crusader, and a whole lot of uncomfortable questions about cultural boundaries and, let's be honest, a touch of forbidden desire. It all starts with Usama ibn Munqidh, a Syrian nobleman and warrior, essentially a medieval action hero with a penchant for writing down his exploits. He wasn't exactly known for subtlety. His book, The Deeds of Usama, is a sprawling account of his life during the Crusades, a chronicle brimming with battles, diplomatic maneuvers, and crucially, anecdotes about the Franks, those pesky European invaders who'd landed in his homeland. And within this sprawling narrative lurks a scene so peculiar, so deliberately provocative, that it's baffled historians for centuries. Let's set the stage. It's Tyre, a bustling port city under Crusader control. Usama, ever the observant chronicler, is relaxing in a bathhouse, a hammam, a social hub where men and, occasionally, women came to cleanse themselves, gossip, and generally unwind. He's seated in a secluded room, enjoying a moment of quiet when a servant bursts in, announcing a bombshell. There are women here. Usama naturally investigates, and what he discovers is Reginald apparently is attempting to blend in with the locals, mimicking Muslim customs, a noble gesture perhaps, but one that's spectacularly backfiring. He's engaged in a conversation with Salim, a local, when, in a moment of sheer obliviousness, he pulls back Reginald's towel and, with a flourish, exposes his genitals. Now, you might think this is a simple case of cultural misunderstanding. A clumsy night, a moment of awkwardness, and that's it. But Usama's account, and it's a detailed account, doesn't quite allow for that. He goes on to describe a series of escalating indignities. Reginald, emboldened by his initial transgression, demands his wife join him in the bath. And in a move that would make any modern-day social media influencer blush, she agrees. But here's the kicker: Reginald's wife is then subjected to a public shaving of her pubic hair. Yes, you read that correctly. A knight in a public bathhouse shaving a woman's, well, you get the picture. And to add insult to injury, the local father, a man of considerable dignity, points out the absurdity of the situation with a perfectly timed, "This is my daughter. Her mother died, and so she has no one who will wash her hair." Usama's narrative doesn't stop there. He describes the scene as ludicrous and shocking, a farce that elicited condescension from the onlookers, but it's not just a comedic vignette. It's a calculated provocation, a deliberate attempt to paint the Franks as boorish, disrespectful, and utterly lacking in the proper sensibilities. The problem is nobody, not Cobb, not Hitty, not even the meticulous Hartwig Derenberg, the man who first translated Usama's work, ever really commented on this particular episode. It's as if the story was too bizarre, too uncomfortable to fully engage with. Yet it kept popping up in textbooks, scholarly articles, and even a somewhat pretentious poem by Mahmoud Darwish. But Usama wasn't alone in his observations. A century earlier, Ahmad ibn Fadlan, a diplomat traveling through Central Asia, wrote about the Orguz Turks, describing their apparent lack of modesty and their willingness to allow their women to appear naked in public. Similarly, a historian named al-Bakri, writing about the Galician presence in Iberia, criticized their lack of propriety and their disregard for social norms. It seems that the perception of Frankish uncouthness wasn't unique to Usama. It was a recurring theme in Muslim literature, a convenient way to demonize and distance themselves from their enemies. But Usama's bathhouse scene is different. It's not just a generalized criticism, it's a meticulously detailed account of a specific, humiliating incident. Now let's talk about the footnotes, or rather, the lack of them. Hermes, the editor who included Usama's story in the European Other, simply notes it briefly and offers no analysis. It's as if he's saying, here's a weird story, don't think about it too hard. But the fact that Usama included this scene, this utterly bizarre episode, suggests that it held a significance for him. Irwin, a scholar who studied Usama's work, argued that the chronicler deliberately employed antithetical pairings, good versus bad, just versus unjust, to shape his narrative. The Frankish justice was brutal, the Frankish medicine deadly, but the Frankish justice was also good and their medicine effective. And the bathhouse scene, it fit perfectly within this framework. It was a shocking example of Frankish barbarity, a stark contrast to the virtues of Muslim society. But it was also a carefully constructed provocation designed to elicit a reaction, a smile of contempt, a shake of the head, a confirmation of the narrative. Interestingly, the scene's erotic undertones have been largely overlooked. The initial exposure is undeniably suggestive, and the subsequent shaving can be interpreted as a form of playful transgression. It's as if Usama is deliberately pushing the boundaries of propriety, creating a space where the rules don't quite apply. This is where things get really interesting. Carol Hillenbrand, a leading Crusades scholar, analyzed the scene with remarkable detail, mapping the bathhouse, examining the marble decorations, and even quoting passages from Darwish's poem. She concluded that the anecdote encapsulates the Muslim perception of the Franks as boorish, ill-bred, and lacking in proper pride towards their womenfolk. But Hillenbrand's interpretation is somewhat reductive. She focuses solely on the Frankish anti-hero, failing to recognize the scene's subversive potential. The knight's actions are not simply a reflection of Frankish barbarity, they're a deliberate challenge to Muslim norms, a provocation designed to expose the hypocrisy of the Crusader world. And that's the key. Usama wasn't just recording an event, he was constructing a narrative that served to justify the Crusades, to demonize the enemy, and to reinforce his own identity as a pious and virtuous Muslim. The bathhouse scene, with its bizarre details and carefully crafted provocation, is a microcosm of Usama's entire work. It's a story that's both shocking and strangely compelling, a testament to the enduring power of narrative to shape our understanding of the world. It's a reminder that history isn't just about facts and dates, it's about stories that are shaped by ideology, by prejudice, and by a desire to make sense of the world. So, what does it all mean? Was Sir Reginald a truly clueless knight, or was he a deliberate agent of provocation? Was Usama simply documenting an event, or was he actively shaping the narrative? And perhaps most importantly, what does this bizarre bathhouse scene tell us about the complex and often uncomfortable relationship between the Muslim and Christian worlds during the Crusades? The answers, it seems, are as slippery and elusive as the towel that Sir Reginald was so carelessly exposing. And finally, if a knight could deliberately shave a woman's pubic hair in a Syrian bathhouse, what else might we be missing about the past?